I'm only going to make a very brief video. And this is the point. In all my videos, my 230 some odd videos, I'm not a scientist, and I never present myself as a scientist. I never present myself as somebody who's all-knowing or have all the answers. You know, I may say something just, like I may say, well, trust your thinking, trust your feelings. That's just my own passionate, personal, internal plea. But I'm ignorant about things. I admit it. But it's funny that in ignorance, when you're ignorant about things, all our ideals are robust. They're very robust and very strong because, we just know it's true. And then you run up against reality, and reality shows you that maybe your ideals aren't quite true. And that's okay. I actually say that. I say that. But, I think some people take a lot of things I say personal, and they get upset because maybe some of the things I'm saying is starting to raise questions. It's starting to get people to doubt things. Sometimes people can be absolutely certain about something, but then you start pointing out things and make them realize that maybe the absolute statements aren't so absolute. I try not to say, I try as much as I can. Occasionally I'll do it, but I try not to put things in absolute terms, because things vary in this world. Like if you say that you should never tell a lie, for example, all of us will think, yeah, that's a great idea because it sounds good. But then you think there are times when lying is a right thing to do. We should never steal. You might even find a situation where maybe stealing is a right thing to do. I'm not advocating stealing. You shouldn't most of the time, but there are some rare occasions. I mean, we can come up with a lot of hypothetical situations. Let's say, for example, somebody holding you hostage and they have a gun and that's all they got just is one gun. They left it on the table and they went somewhere else. Don't take that gun that belongs to him. You're stealing it. So you don't steal it, that sort of thing, whatever. But whenever you make absolute statements, you have to think about that. So I try not to say things like, what people ought to do in some absolute way. I'm always saying it with this, at least with the ideal, that nothing is absolute, But every ideal is robust until it comes up against reality, until it comes up against something that you can actually observe and you see whether or not that's true. People might tell me that a certain food tastes good, and then I taste it for myself and discover that no, it doesn't taste good. Because things tasting good is really a matter of subjective. And it's a matter of cultural things too. I was thinking about something I was watching the other day, and they were talking about in certain countries in Asia, there's a certain type of fruit. I think I don't know if it's in Indonesia, wherever it is, where they have this thing called durians. They actually, I think in the stores here, I think I've seen them. I might try it one day, but I've heard that it has this really strong odor to it, and that some people don't like it, Although in places where they actually eat it, it's quite delicious. I would imagine it's maybe like the way a lot of people don't like the smell of chitlins, Or they couldn't even approach a pot of chitlins, yet I love chitlins, I'll eat them all day. You can't really eat them because they have a lot of fat in it and stuff, but, but that's the thing. How we perceive things, how we see it, how we interpret it, plays a big role in what we say about something. We say that something tastes nasty, but other people are going to tell you something tastes nasty. There are people who told me things didn't taste good, and I tasted it and I loved it. Even if I tried it for the first time. Like, I actually love haggis, the stuff in Scotland. I actually love it. Some people can't stand it. I love it. But, I try not to be absolute about things. Even things that I didn't like at one time, I might like it later. I may develop a taste for it. I remember these little like rice cookie cracker things, whatever. I don't know what you call them. It's like a Japanese thing. The first time I had those things, I thought, ugh. But then after I eat them for a while, I actually started to like them. Now, and that was many years ago, about 40 years ago. Now I love those things. I love them. I had this change in thinking. So many things, it's not that simple when you run around with this, oh, this is bad. Like, don't trust your feelings. Don't ever trust your feelings. Really? Should you never trust your feelings? Or do your feelings really deceive you? Or is there really this battle between feelings and logic? I don't think so. Sometimes you have to think out those things. You know, sometimes you can just say something and not really think about it. And yeah, of course it's true. But then when you actually go over it in your mind, think about it, look at it, examine every situation, you begin to realize, wait a minute, the way I said that isn't correct. But sometimes people get upset when I say things that run contrary to what they believe, and they take it personal. And it's not personal. It really isn't. This, just like they said, The Godfather, this is strictly business. It's not personal.